General Assembly is a global network of campuses that offers courses in technology, business, and design. Our core products are 10 to 12-week courses that teach practical skills. So Intro to Rails, user experience design, front-end web development. So today we have some local organizations that are going to talk to you a little bit about their initiatives to encourage women to join the tech community. So we have USC, Rails Girls, Girls in Tech, and DIY Girls. So they're going to tell you a little bit about themselves and their organizations. Yeah.
Sure. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. So my name is Amy Kim. I run the Women in Engineering program at USC. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself before I tell you what my program entails. So I'm a physical chemist by training. I did my PhD at UChicago in chemistry. My dad's a CS professor, so every summer, every day in the morning, I used to get a little note card, and he will tell me what I needed to code that day. So that was like my project every summer, and I hated coding all of my life. And then I went to graduate school, and I started to build microscopes. I wanted to build new technologies in biotech. And then I got this really fancy camera for like $50,000 with my boss's money, and then it spit out this number, like all these numbers, and it didn't actually give me an image. And I was like, shoot, like I need to actually code something to be able to read my image. So that's when I started programming in graduate school, and then first time I got a program to run, that satisfaction is nothing you can, after like crashing it every 10 seconds. So I got interested in getting more girls and women into science and engineering. When I was a graduate student, I was the only female in my PhD program my year. And after I finished my PhD, I moved to LA, and I used to be the STEM program manager at the Girl Scouts for a couple of years. And now I'm at USC running the Women in Engineering program. And what my program really does is we recruit female engineering students into our engineering school and really provide support so they graduate as an engineer. So we have about 38% female engineers in undergraduate at USC, which is about twice as high as national average. And in CS, I believe this year will be about 18% female, which is pretty much higher than the national average too. So we work really hard. We develop a lot of programs. One thing that we really work hard to do is have our female students meet with women in technology. So if any of you guys are alumni from USC and want to get back to our campus and be role models for our students, please come and find me. And I partner a lot. I've partnered with Girls in Tech before. And our job really is to provide opportunities for our students to meet role models as well as they be role models for middle school and high school students. So that kind of sums it up. Cool.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm a Ruby on Rails developer. I live here in Santa Monica. I've been doing Ruby on Rails professionally for about 3 years now. I majored in computer science in college. I just took a class because it filled one of my requirements and I really liked it. So I just kept doing that. And this year in January, a couple of my friends were running a Rails Girls event in San Francisco, and it sounded really fun, so I went up to check it out. And it was just great. There was like 100 girls there who did not have experience in programming, and they spent the day just building a full app and deploying it to the internet in one day. And so I decided that we needed an event like that here in LA, and I organized Rails Girls LA, which was in April last month at Pivotal Labs, just a couple of blocks away. And it was really fun. So we really focused on making technology more approachable to women who maybe have never been exposed to any technology. Some attendees do have prior programming experience. And we really focus on having like a one-on-one experience. We break up into small groups, and each group works with a coach. And throughout the day, they build a full app. And there's similar programs. They also have a presence here in LA, like Railsbridge. They have a little bit different approach, whereas it's like a classroom approach, but they still build like a full application all in one day. And these events are completely free to women, and the coaches volunteer their time just to help women get into programming.
Hi, I'm Mariel Kalekai, and I have been working in the IT industry for many years. I actually started school thinking I was going to go into medicine, be a doctor, hit upper division physical chemistry, and said, no way. So from there, I worked at a startup up in the Bay Area, and I thought, wow, tech is really fun. Like, they would have happy hours on Fridays, and we could go to the basement, and malt liquor tastings, and I mean, they would do a lot of cool stuff. I was doing quality assurance at the time. And so from there, I went into IT. I worked at a consulting company and really loved it, got to do a lot of different things. After that, I went on and I launched my own consulting company, did consulting for small businesses and nonprofits for several years. And then a company brought me back down to working in full-time work again. They'd offered me a full-time position, and I've been doing that for a couple years now as the IT manager at a manufacturing company. My other, which is not really a job, but it feels like a job by the amount of stuff that we do, is with Girls in Tech. I volunteer on the advisory board as the director of events and community partnerships. And so Girls in Tech, we're the Los Angeles chapter. It's actually an international organization. So we've got chapters in Dubai, we have chapters in France and in England. We've got one in Singapore. All of them kind of run independently, and one of the things that we really wanted to do here in Los Angeles is focus on the mentorship portion of Girls in Technology. And so what we do is, we've got half of what we do is doing professional development for women that are working in tech careers, interested in the tech industry, everything from digital media through startups, through engineering, through anything STEM related. But we wanted to really bring these women in to do mentorship. So girls of all ages, kind of focusing on the middle school, high school, and college range, where we wanted to make tech fun. We wanted to promote more women, more girls going into and studying for STEM careers. Science, tech, engineering, I mean, all of this stuff is super fun, but until some of these girls can really get hands-on, and also to see positive role models of women that are working in these careers, that's when they really start to form in their mind that this is something that they can do. At that age, it's kind of like, okay, engineers, I don't know what that means. Like, what does it mean to be a computer science? But if you go and hands-on work with these girls to be able to show them what that's like and show them that that's something that they can do, that just encourages more women to get involved in the space. So we'll do a lot of mentorship events. We'll do, hackathons. We did a coding challenge with Technovation, which is a program through Luz's group, where we actually went to a middle school or to a high school and helped these teams of high school girls build and develop an app. So going through the entire process from pitching, launching, coming up with the idea, doing the coding and everything. So we'll do a lot of different programs like that where we can really go and volunteer in the community and give back. One of the big things that we're trying to do this summer is a lot of professional development series for women where we focus on a couple things. Like one is, okay, what are the ABCs of getting your startup going, or doing a business in tech, and then also tech-focused events like we've done Windows 8 app development, we've done other all-day coding days and so on. So we really wanted to be able to empower the women that are out there in the community to move themselves forward professionally, but also to give back to girls so that they can do the same, and then we can empower the next generation of female leaders to really rise up and do a lot of amazing things. Because there is so much great stuff happening out here in LA. There's so much focus and interest on women in technology. There are books like Lean In with Sheryl Sandberg. Like all of this interest together, I think we could do something to really build what's going on here in LA.
My name is Luz Rivas. I'm originally from Los Angeles. I was born and raised here. I went to college at MIT. I studied electrical engineering. And I first got started in technology in elementary school. I didn't know any engineers, and no one in my family was a scientist or in technology. But my teacher had an Apple IIe computer in her classroom, and that's like in the mid-'80s, so I was in elementary school back then. And she just taught a few of us to program in the back of the room. And we were all girls. I didn't know this wasn't for girls. I didn't know any of that. I didn't even know that there was a field called computer science. But I really liked doing this, especially because there was just a green cursor on this blinking green cursor on the screen. The computer would do nothing unless you typed a command, right? And we did Logo and we did BASIC, that type of programming when I was like 10 years old, right? And then in 6th grade it continued. My 6th grade teacher was actually getting a master's in computer science. So that's the first time I ever heard that this was a field. And she took us to Cal State Northridge. I'm from the San Fernando Valley. And we went on a Saturday where kids competed and did like programming. So like what we would probably call a hack day today. I went to that and I just really got excited about this. And that's kind of what got me started. That's where I chose, I want to do something with computers. And then when I got to middle school, they offered this as an elective, and so I chose it because I've already done this. And I took it again, and it was basically a repeat of what I had done when I was in 5th grade. So I thought I was so smart, and I knew everything in the class. And then in high school, I took it again, and that's when I first heard the word engineering when I was in high school. There was a program that introduced high school kids to what engineering is, and somehow I chose electrical engineering. To be honest, I have no idea why. And then I just kind of went with it. And then I applied to MIT, and that's where I ended up, and I studied electrical engineering. After college, I was a hardware engineer, so I did like electrical circuit design. I worked for Motorola in the Chicago area, more like navigation, which was, our customer was GM, so it was OnStar and those types of products that were new at the time. So I did a lot of that, and the software that I developed was more embedded software, not for the web. So I did that for a few years, and then I went into IT stuff for nonprofits. I was interested in doing something education or nonprofit related, but I was a little bit too scared to just leave my engineering job. So that's kind of how I transitioned. I just said, well, I'll get to know what nonprofits and schools do first, because I had no idea what to do. And after that is when I ended up doing education. So now what I do is more engineering education and science. And just last year, I started this organization called DIY Girls. It's a meetup for women, and it's a chance for women to just come in and explore technology. We're not really focused on careers or getting your startup going, but just being curious and getting excited about some type of technology, whether it's something current or old. Like just a few weeks ago, we did a blacksmithing class here in LA. So it's about making, building. Part of it because I just wanted to learn how to do some of that stuff, and which I hadn't done. So I just chose, I'm just going to choose things I want to do and see if anyone will come with me. And we have a few hundred members in the group. It's a meetup group. And along with that, my goal was to have women explore technology, but I also want girls to explore. And so last year we started an after-school program at my elementary school in the Valley. And luckily they gave us our own classroom. And it's actually my 5th grade classroom, which is great. So I always tell the girls, this is where I got started. And it's a great story, but I didn't plan it. They just kind of assigned that room to me. And it just was coincidence. But when people come and visit, I say, oh, this is where I got started in technology. And it's true, so it's been fun working with the girls, and we have a lot of volunteers that come, and we've done programming using Scratch. We've done some basic electronics, like they've done with hardware. They've built circuits on breadboards. Right now they're making these interactive games and using this board called the Makey. So it's just about having fun and exploring technology. And I feel in the future things are just going to be very integrated. Where it's hardware, software, all these interactive, and it's going to require different types of people, not like traditionally like the type of education that I went through. It's going to be creative people. So there's a lot of different ways to get into technology, I think, now. And not just traditional, like I love math, I love physics, like I did. So that's what I like to talk to the girls. And I meet a lot of women that have, they studied sociology or they're in other fields today and just want to integrate technology into either what they do or maybe enter it as a career, and you don't have to have had a computer science or an engineering degree to do it. So this is just what it's all about, this group. And I get a lot of suggestions from members on the types of meetups. In terms of programming, we've done an intro to Python, one last fall, and it was 2 women volunteers that are Python programmers, taught us how to some basic Python programming, and hopefully they'll continue. So it's a mix, hardware, software, building things, woodworking, just depending on the interests of the group.
Cool, thanks so much. Yeah, applause.